I was kidnapped by Korea's most wanted criminal after I saved his cousin's life. He locked me in his penthouse for what was supposed to be 3 days. Then I got pregnant. Then he threatened to take my baby if I didn't come back. My name is Clara. I'm 26 years old, and I've been locked in a penthouse prison for 9 months. The man who put me here? Korea's most wanted criminal. The father of my child. This is the story of how I went from saving his life, to carrying his baby, to becoming the only person who could save his soul. It started on a Tuesday night in Itaewon. 11 p.m. I was alone at the community center where I worked, finishing paperwork for North Korean refugee families. My eyes were burning from staring at forms all day, my back ached, and all I wanted was to go home, take a hot shower, and collapse into bed. I should have left an hour earlier. I should have locked the doors. I should have listened to that tiny voice in my head that said something felt wrong about how quiet the streets were outside. But I didn't. The door exploded open. 3 men crashed through, bleeding, desperate, armed. The youngest one, couldn't have been more than 19, collapsed right in front of my desk. Blood pooled beneath him, spreading across the floor like spilled wine. For a second, I froze. Then my trauma kicked in. That boy, bleeding out on my floor, reminded me of my brother. Same age. Same terror in his eyes. Same look of someone who didn't want to die, but could feel death coming anyway. My brother died in my arms when I was 22. Gang violence in Lagos. He was caught in crossfire, shot 3 times, and I held him while he bled out on a dirty street corner. I couldn't save him. I've been trying to save everyone else ever since, like somehow if I save enough people, I can make up for the one person I couldn't. So I didn't run. I didn't call the police. I dropped to my knees beside this bleeding boy and started assessing the wound. The 2 men with him started yelling at me in Korean. Get out. Leave now. This isn't your business. I looked up at them and said in perfect Korean, he'll die in 20 minutes if that bullet isn't removed. So shut up and let me work. They went silent. I think they were shocked that this African woman spoke their language like a native. I'd spent 3 years in Seoul, working myself to exhaustion learning Korean because I needed to communicate with the refugees I helped. Now that skill was either going to save my life or end it. I cut away the boy's shirt. Gunshot wound to the shoulder. Deep. The bullet was still inside. I needed tools. My medical kit was in the storage room. I stood up, walked past the armed men like they weren't even there, grabbed my supplies, and came back. My hands were steady. That's what years of trauma does to you. When everyone else panics, you go calm and cold. I started working, cleaning the wound, extracting the bullet, stitching him up. The boy was delirious, mumbling things I tried not to hear. Something about a shipment. A port. 3 days. Weapons. I pretended not to listen. But I heard every word. I was halfway through stitching when the door opened again. The temperature in the room dropped. I mean that literally. It felt like winter walked in wearing human skin. I didn't look up. I was focused on my work. But I felt him. Everyone in that room felt him. A voice, low and controlled, cut through the silence. Who are you? I still didn't look up. Kept stitching. I'm a medic. Who are you? The 2 armed men beside me went rigid. I could feel their fear. Nobody, apparently, spoke to this man like that. Someone you shouldn't have met, he said. I tied off the last stitch, cleaned the wound one more time, and finally looked up. Tall. Maybe 6'2". Dressed entirely in black. Sharp jawline. Dark eyes that looked like they could see straight through you and catalog every secret you'd ever kept. He was surrounded by more armed men, at least 6 of them, but he was clearly the one in charge. He didn't need to shout or threaten. His presence alone was enough. Your friend will live, I said, standing up and wiping blood off my hands. You're welcome. He studied me. Not the way men usually look at women. This was different. Clinical. Like he was solving a puzzle. You heard what he said, he told me. It wasn't a question. I heard a delirious kid talking nonsense, I replied. You're a terrible liar. And you're a criminal. I have diplomatic immunity. I work for an international organization. Touch me, and you'll have every embassy in Seoul on your back. That was a bluff. Sort of. I did work for an international organization, but diplomatic immunity doesn't work the way people think it does. Still, I said it with enough confidence that I hoped he'd believe it. He smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Then I guess you're coming with me until the shipment is complete. 3 days. Then you're free. You can't kidnap me. He gestured to his men. Take her to the car. I fought. I kicked one of them in the knee, elbowed another in the ribs, and managed to hit the silent alarm button under my desk before they grabbed my arms and dragged me toward the door. His tech guy disabled the alarm in less than 10 seconds. As they pushed me into a black SUV, I looked back at the community center. The lights were still on. My coffee mug was still on my desk. My life was still there, normal and safe, and I was being pulled away from it into something dark and dangerous. The man in black slid into the seat beside me. Up close, I could see a scar along his jawline. Old. Faded. He smelled like expensive cologne and something else. Gunpowder, maybe. Or just danger. What's your name? He asked as the car pulled away. I didn't answer. Fine. I'll find out anyway. We drove through Seoul's glittering streets. Gangnam, the wealthy district. The car pulled into an underground garage, and we took a private elevator to the 35th floor. The doors opened directly into a penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. Modern furniture. Expensive art on the walls. A library that looked like it belonged in a museum. He walked in ahead of me. Welcome home. This isn't my home. It's a prison. It's protection. If you'd left that center, my enemies would have found you by morning. They would have tortured you for information about what you heard, then killed you. Here, you're safe. Safe? I'm a prisoner. You're alive. That's more than you'd be out there. He showed me to a bedroom. Huge. Luxury everywhere. Silk sheets. Private bathroom. A closet full of clothes in my exact size, which was creepy. How did you know my size? I know everything about you, Clara Adesanya. 26 years old. Born in Lagos. Moved to Seoul 3 years ago. Works for Hope Bridge International helping refugees. Lost your brother to gang violence when you were 22. You're brave, stubborn, and reckless. And now you know too much about my business. My blood went cold. He'd done his research in the car ride over. 20 minutes, and he knew my entire life. 3 days, he repeated. Then you're free. Try to escape, and I'll have to take more permanent measures. Understood? Before I could respond, he left. I heard the lock click from outside. I was alone in a beautiful cage. If you're enjoying this story so far, please subscribe to Afrokorean Chronicles for more multicultural romance stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Day 1 in captivity. I spent the first hour searching for escape routes. The windows didn't open. They were floor-to-ceiling glass, but sealed completely. Probably bulletproof. The door was reinforced steel with an electronic lock. My phone was gone. No internet. No way to contact anyone. I sat by the window and stared at Seoul spread out below me. Thousands of people down there living normal lives. And here I was, trapped 35 floors above them. I made myself a promise. I would survive this. I would get out. And I would make him regret ever taking me. Day 2. A woman brought me breakfast. She wouldn't look at me. Wouldn't speak. Just left a tray of food and disappeared. I didn't eat it. Threw the whole thing at the wall. Childish, maybe, but I needed to do something. I needed to feel like I had some control. He appeared in my doorway an hour later. Looked at the food splattered across the expensive wallpaper. Starving yourself won't change anything, he said calmly. You're not God. You're just a man with guns and deep insecurity. His jaw tightened. Just slightly. But I saw it. I'd hit a nerve. You don't know anything about me. I know you're so terrified of being powerless that you control everything around you. I know you build walls so high nobody can reach you. I know you're lonely. Long silence. He stared at me like he was trying to figure out if I was brave or stupid. Eat. Or don't. Your choice. He left. But I'd seen it. That flash of vulnerability. That crack in his armor. Day 3. I started exploring the penthouse. Carefully. Quietly. I found his office. Door open. He was inside, on the phone, speaking rapid Korean. I understood every word. He was orchestrating a weapons deal. Talking about shipping routes. Payoffs. Threats. His voice was cold. Efficient. This was a man who'd built an empire on fear. But then another call came in. One of his employees. The man's daughter needed surgery. Couldn't afford it. He didn't hesitate. Take whatever time you need. I'll cover all medical expenses. Family comes first. I stood in the hallway listening, confused. What kind of criminal pays for his employee's kid's surgery? I kept listening over the next few days. I heard him refuse a human trafficking deal. Absolutely not. Find another buyer. I don't deal in people. I heard him set strict rules for his operations. No civilian casualties. No children. No sexual violence. He was a criminal. A bad man. But he had a code. Day 4. I found his library. Philosophy. Military strategy. Classic literature. Poetry. I pulled out a copy of The Prince by Machiavelli. Interesting choice, a voice said behind me. I spun around. He was leaning against the doorframe, watching me. Understanding the enemy, I said. And what have you learned? That you've built your entire life on one line. It is better to be feared than loved. It's worked so far. Confucius said the strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. You can have all the power in the world, but without love, you have nothing. He stepped into the library. So you think I have nothing? I think you're empty. I think you've spent so long building walls that you forgot what it feels like to let someone in. We argued for 2 hours. Philosophy. Ethics. Power. Morality. He was brilliant. Sharp. Challenging. I forgot I was arguing with my kidnapper. I forgot to be scared. When he finally left, I realized I was smiling. Day 5. 3 a.m. I woke up screaming. Nightmares about my brother. His blood on my hands. His eyes going empty while I begged him to stay. I was on the floor, sobbing, when I heard footsteps in the hallway outside my door. They stopped. Right outside. I could see the shadow under the door. He didn't come in. Didn't knock. Just stood there until my breathing slowed. Until the crying stopped. When I finally fell back asleep, he was still there. The next morning, there was a book outside my door. On Grief and Grieving by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. No note. Just the book. Day 6. I was cooking. Jollof rice. My comfort food. The smell filled the entire penthouse. Tomatoes. Peppers. Spices. Home. He walked into the kitchen and stopped. What is that smell? Jollof rice. Nigerian dish. Want to try it? I don't know why I offered. Maybe because he'd left me that book. Maybe because I was tired of being angry all the time. Maybe because I was starting to see him as more than just my captor. He sat at the kitchen counter. I served him a plate. Watched him take the first bite. It's good. It's perfect. Say it's perfect. He almost smiled. Almost. It's perfect. That almost smile did something to my chest. Made it tight. We ate together. Really talked. I told him about my brother. The gang violence. How I came to Seoul to escape that memory, but it followed me everywhere. He told me about his mother. Working 3 jobs. Collapsing from exhaustion. Dying in a hospital hallway because they couldn't afford treatment. I built all of this so I'd never be that powerless again, he said quietly. And are you? Powerful? I control everything in my world. Except yourself. Silence. Heavy. Loaded. The shipment is complete, he said finally. You're free to go tomorrow. I should have felt relieved. I should have been happy. But all I felt was, I don't know, something like disappointment. Day 7. My last night. The tension between us was unbearable. We ended up on the balcony. Seoul glittered below us like a carpet of stars. He poured wine. We stood there, not speaking, just existing in the same space. Why did you save my cousin? He asked finally. You knew what we were. Because I saw a kid bleeding out. And doing nothing would have made me no better than the people who killed my brother. I'd rather die trying to help than live as a coward. You're the bravest person I've ever met. And the most foolish. You're the most broken person I've ever met. And you don't even know it. The air between us crackled with something electric. Dangerous. Tomorrow you walk out that door and forget this happened, he said. Is that what you want? What I want doesn't matter. What do you want? He looked at me. Really looked at me. I want you to stay. But I can't ask you to. Because everyone I love dies. And I won't let that happen to you. I stepped closer. So this is you protecting me? Pushing me away? Clara. My name in his mouth sounded like a prayer. I closed the distance between us. Kissed him. It was desperate. Weeks of tension exploding all at once. His hands in my hair. My hands on his chest. Everything we'd been holding back crashing through every wall we'd built. We barely made it to his bedroom. I'll spare you the details. This is a family-friendly story. But that night, we forgot who we were supposed to be. Captor and captive. Criminal and humanitarian. We were just two broken people finding something whole in each other. I woke up alone. There was a note on the pillow. The car is waiting downstairs. Driver will take you anywhere you want to go. You're free. Forget this happened. Forget me. You deserve better than this life. And a notification on the phone he'd left me. $100,000 transferred to my account. I stared at that number. At the money. At the note. He'd thrown me away like I was nothing. Like that night meant nothing. And the money made it worse. Like I was something he could pay off and forget. I got dressed. Took the phone. Got in the car. Went home. Tried to forget. But I couldn't. 3 weeks later, I was at work when the world tilted. Clara, you look terrible, my coworker Sarah said. When's the last time you ate? I'm fine. You're not fine. You need to see a doctor. I'd been exhausted. Nauseous. Dizzy. I thought it was stress. Trauma. The aftermath of being kidnapped. It wasn't. The doctor ran tests. Came back smiling. Congratulations. You're pregnant. About 5 weeks. I sat in that clinic for an hour. Numb. Terrified. Overwhelmed. Pregnant. With the child of Korea's most wanted criminal. The man who'd kidnapped me. The man who'd thrown me away. The man I'd stupidly fallen in love with. I made a decision sitting in that clinic. I wouldn't tell him. He'd made his choice when he pushed me away. I would raise this baby alone. I was strong enough. This child would know love. Safety. Everything we never had. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe to Afro-K Chronicles and join thousands of viewers who love dramatic romance stories with powerful characters and unexpected twists. But he found out anyway. Miho, I learned his name eventually, had been watching me. Not in a creepy stalker way. Protection, he called it. He had security monitoring me, making sure I was safe. They reported everything. Doctor's appointments. Pharmacy visits. Prenatal vitamins. He figured it out. Midnight. 3 weeks after I'd left the penthouse. Someone pounded on my apartment door. I opened it. Saw him. Tried to slam it shut. He stopped the door with his hand. You're pregnant. Go away. It's my child. It's my child. You don't get to show up now with guilt and demands. You threw me away, remember? You left me a check like I was something you regretted. He flinched. That's not, I was trying to protect you. I don't need your protection. I don't need you. We'll be fine without you. You can't raise my child alone. Watch me. His face went hard. Cold. The ghost was back. You have 2 choices. Come back to the penthouse where I can keep you both safe, or I'll use every resource I have, lawyers, investigators, character witnesses, to prove you're an unfit mother and take custody. I felt the blood drain from my face. You wouldn't dare. I lost my mother because I was powerless. I won't lose my child. Try me. I saw it in his eyes. He wasn't bluffing. He would do it. He had billions. Connections. Power. He could bury me in legal fees. Could make me disappear. Fine. I'll stay. But we have rules. Name them. Separate rooms. No touching. You don't control me. This is temporary, until the baby is born. Then we co-parent. Nothing more. Agreed. We both knew those rules wouldn't last. 2 months pregnant. Back in the penthouse prison. But this time, I wasn't just his captive. I was the mother of his child. And that terrified him even more than it terrified me. We barely spoke. I was hostile. He was frustratingly patient. He monitored everything. My diet. You need more protein. My sleep. You were up until 2 a.m. That's not healthy. My stress levels. You need to rest. I rebelled. Did yoga at midnight. Ate spicy food. Ignored every suggestion he made. But he was thoughtful too. My favorite herbal tea appeared on the counter every morning. Books on pregnancy. A ridiculous pregnancy pillow that actually helped my back. Fresh flowers every week. One night, I caught him at his computer. He was researching how to support a pregnant woman. Taking notes. Making lists. You can't control pregnancy with research, I told him. He looked up. I can try. Why do you need to control everything? Because every time I let go, people I love die. Something in my chest cracked. Just a little. Month 3. First ultrasound. I told him he wasn't invited. He showed up anyway. Sat in the back of the room like he was trying to be invisible. The technician squeezed gel on my belly. Moved the wand around. Then, sound filled the room. Fast. Strong. Real. The heartbeat. I started crying. Couldn't help it. Would Dad like to see? The technician asked. I looked at him. Nodded. He came to the bedside. Looked at the screen. At the tiny form. Our baby. That's, his voice cracked. That's our baby. Yeah, that's our baby. Our hands found each other. Neither of us pulled away. In the car afterward, we sat in silence. Still holding hands. I'm sorry, he said quietly. For how I handled things. For pushing you away. For threatening you. I was scared. Of what? Of failing you. Of losing you. Of being the reason you get hurt. You can't control everything, Miho. I know. But I can try to be better. For them. For you. I let him hold my hand for 5 minutes. Then I pulled away. But it was progress. Months 4 and 5 changed everything. We fell into rhythms. Morning tea together. He cooked breakfast terribly, but I appreciated the effort. I read while he worked. Evening walks on the balcony. I was showing now. My body was changing. Growing our child. One night at dinner, the baby kicked. I gasped. What's wrong? He looked panicked. The baby. Kicking. I grabbed his hand without thinking. Placed it on my belly. We waited. The baby kicked against his palm. His eyes filled with tears. That night I found him researching baby safety. Nursery designs. Parenting books. Taking notes like this was a business deal he needed to master. Month 5. Late night. I couldn't sleep. Found him on the balcony. Can I join you? Always. We sat in comfortable silence. I don't hate you anymore, I said. You should. Probably. But I don't. I understand you now. You're not a monster. You're just a man who's been hurt so badly you forgot how to be soft. I don't know how to be what you need. Then learn. We have 4 months. He looked at me. Really looked at me. What if I mess this up? What if I fail? Then we figure it out together. Something shifted between us. The walls we'd built were crumbling. Month 6. We were closer than ever. He read to the baby every night. Children's books in Korean. His voice soft, gentle. I played with his hair while he read, laughed at his terrible character voices. One night after reading, I asked, "Do you think we could make this work? Really work?" "What do you mean?" "Us. As a family. Not just co-parents, but together." He sat up. "I want that more than anything. But I don't know if I can give you the life you deserve. I'm still who I am. My empire, my world, it's dangerous." "Then leave it." "It's not that simple." "It is. Choose us." Before he could answer, his phone rang. His face went cold. "Stay here. Don't leave this penthouse." "What's happening?" "I'm ending this." He left. Came back 18 hours later covered in blood. "Whose blood is that?" I was shaking. "No one's who didn't deserve it. You killed people. I protected you. This is your protection? Violence? Murder? This is my world. I told you. I can't raise a child in this world, Miho. I can't live wondering every day if someone's going to hurt our baby because of who you are. I've eliminated the threat. There will always be another threat. That's who you are. This is what you do. So what are you saying?" "I'm leaving. As soon as this baby is born, I'm taking them and going back to Nigeria. We'll be safe there. You can't take my child. Watch me. You want to be a father? Leave this life. Choose us. Really choose us. It's not that easy. Then you're not choosing us. You're choosing your empire. That's not fair. Love isn't fair. It's sacrifice. And you don't know how to sacrifice anything." Before you find out what happens next, make sure you're subscribed to Afrokorean Chronicles. We post new romance stories every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss how the story ends. Hit subscribe now. I packed my bags, booked a flight to Nigeria. 7 months pregnant and running. At the Penthouse door, suitcase in hand, I gave him one last chance. "Come with us. Leave this behind." He looked at me with those dark eyes. "I can't. You won't. If I leave, my enemies will hunt me forever. Hunt you. Hunt our child. At least here, I can protect you. You can't protect us if we're not together." I left. Walked out that door. Got on a plane. He didn't stop me. Lagos. Living with my aunt. Preparing for single motherhood. Crying myself to sleep every night. Missing him desperately. But I'd made my choice. Our baby's safety came first. Even if it broke my heart. Month 8 in Lagos. I was living with my aunt in a small house in Ikeja. Preparing to give birth alone. I'd made peace with it. Or at least, that's what I told myself every morning when I woke up and reached for him before remembering he wasn't there. But every night, I prayed he'd find a way back to us. Back in Seoul, Miho was spiraling. His cousin Jiho found him one night, sitting in the dark penthouse, staring at ultrasound photos. "Hyung, what are you doing?" "Protecting them. You're abandoning them. Just like your father abandoned you and your mom." "That's different." "Is it? The woman who saved my life, who's carrying your child, you're letting her face this alone. Because you're scared. If I go to her, I bring danger. If you don't go to her, you prove you're exactly who she fears you are. A man who chooses power over love." Those words hit Miho like bullets. He sat there for 3 hours after Jiho left. Then he made a decision that would change everything. He started dismantling his empire. Week 1. He sold the arms dealing division to a trusted contact. Took a massive financial loss to ensure clean handover. No human trafficking. No children. No civilian targets. Those were his conditions. His business partners thought he'd lost his mind. The ghost doesn't just walk away. But he did. Week 2. He transferred gambling operations to his lieutenants. Gave them full control. Kept only 20% profits as a silent partner. Another fortune gone. He didn't care. Week 3. He did something unthinkable. He cooperated anonymously with Seoul police. Provided evidence on his rival gangs. Names. Locations. Bank accounts. Ensured they'd be arrested, not killed. He wanted them in prison, not graves. His former allies became enemies overnight. Week 4. 2 assassination attempts. The first one, a car bomb. His driver spotted the device before Miho got in. The second one, a shooter in a parking garage. Miho took a bullet to the shoulder but survived. Jiho found him getting stitched up by his private doctor, refusing to go to a hospital. Hyun, you're going to get killed. Maybe. But if I do, make sure Clara knows. Make sure she knows I tried. That I chose them. Tell her yourself. That's when Miho realized something. He was doing this wrong. He was trying to clean up his entire past, make everything perfect before going to her. But that was still control. Still trying to orchestrate everything. What Clara needed wasn't perfection. It was presence. He converted his remaining assets to legitimate businesses. Tech company. Real estate. Venture capital. Still wealthy but clean. Then he booked a flight to Lagos. Have you ever loved someone so much you'd burn down everything you built just to hold them again? Because that's exactly what Miho did. Month 9. 3 a.m. in Lagos. I woke up with contractions. Sharp. Painful. Regular. My aunt rushed me to the hospital. The labor was long. Difficult. Hour after hour of pain that made me wonder if I'd survive this. Hour 8. I was exhausted. Crying. Terrified. The nurse held my hand. You're doing great. Just breathe. I can't do this alone. I can't. You're not alone. We're all here. But I wasn't talking about them. I was talking about him. The man I loved. The man I'd left. The man whose child I was bringing into this world without him. I wish he was here, I whispered. Hour 10. I was in the delivery room. Pushing. Every nerve in my body screaming. The nurse stepped out to get supplies. Came back and said, "There's someone here to see you." I can't see anyone right now. Then he walked in. Travel worn. Exhausted. Clothes rumpled from the flight. But here. Actually here. You came. I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic from the airport was brutal and I didn't know which hospital, and I had to bribe 3 taxi drivers to shut up and hold my hand. He grabbed my hand. Held it like it was the only thing keeping him alive. With him there, I found strength I didn't know I had. 30 minutes later, our daughter was born. Tiny. Perfect. Screaming her lungs out. The nurse placed her on my chest. She had my nose. His eyes. A perfect blend of both of us. Miho was crying. Actual tears streaming down his face. She's perfect, he whispered. She's ours. Later, after I was cleaned up and the baby was sleeping in my arms, he sat beside the hospital bed. How are you here? How did you leave? How did you? I left. The empire, the power, all of it. I dismantled everything. I'm not the ghost anymore. I'm just Miho. A man who loves you. Who wants to be a father. If you'll have me. He showed me documents. Proof of asset transfers. Business dissolutions. Police cooperation agreements. A completely clean background check. You gave up everything. No. I finally found everything. You were right. I didn't know how to sacrifice. But I learned. You taught me. I was sobbing. You beautiful, stupid man. I'll take that as a yes. He held our daughter for the first time. She gripped his finger with her tiny hand. He looked at her like she was the most precious thing in the universe. What's her name? I was thinking Jiun. It means wisdom and kindness. Everything I hope she'll be. It's perfect. She's perfect. He leaned over, pressed his forehead to mine. I promise you both. I will be better than my father. I will be here. Always. And for the first time in months, I believed him. 6 weeks later, we were back in Seoul. Not the penthouse. Miho had bought a house. Small. Normal. In a quiet neighborhood far from Gangnam's glitter and danger. He was running his legitimate businesses. Tech company doing well. Real estate investments. Venture capital. Still wealthy but clean. Legal. Safe. We were living quietly. Raising Jiun together. She was the most beautiful baby I'd ever seen. His eyes. My smile. Perfect. I thought the story ended there. Happy family. New beginning. Fresh start. But the past doesn't die easily. I was at a cafe in Itaewon. Daytime. Public place. Ji-yoon was 6 weeks old, sleeping in her carrier beside me. I was having coffee with Sarah from work, catching up, showing off baby photos like a normal new mom. 3 men approached our table. One of them showed me a photo on his phone. Miho. Are you Clara? My blood went cold. Who's asking? He leaned close. Whispered. Come quietly or we kill everyone in this cafe. Starting with your friend. I looked around. Families. Students. Elderly couples. Innocent people. I stood up. Picked up Ji-yoon's carrier. Okay, let's go. Sarah grabbed my arm. Clara, what's happening? Nothing. I'll call you later. The man smiled. Good choice. They walked me to a van. Black. No plates. Pushed me inside. One of them zip-tied my hands. Took my phone. We drove for an hour. I held Ji-yoon against my chest. She was still sleeping. Didn't know her mother was terrified. We ended up in a warehouse. Incheon. Near the port. Empty. Cold. The kind of place where people disappear. They sat me in a metal chair. Ji-yoon woke up. Started crying. I couldn't hold her properly with my hands tied. Please. Let me hold my baby. A man walked out of the shadows. Older. 50s. Expensive suit. Cold eyes. Clara Adesanya. I've heard so much about you. Who are you? Lee Sang-woo. I used to be Miho's second in command. Until he abandoned everything we built together. Until he decided his empire meant nothing. What do you want? He walked closer. What do I want? I want him to suffer the way I suffered. He took everything from me. My power. My position. My respect. Now I take everything from him. He looked at Ji-yoon, still crying in my arms. Starting with them. Do you think Clara should have trusted Miho to protect them, or was she right to run? Drop your answer in the comments below. Sang-woo made a video call. Miho's face appeared on the screen. He looked calm, but I could see the terror in his eyes. Let them go, Miho said quietly. This is between us. Sang-woo laughed. The mighty ghost. Thought you could just walk away? Thought there wouldn't be consequences? I'll give you anything you want. Money. Territory. Connections. Name your price. I don't want your money. I want you to feel what I felt. Powerless. Watching everything you love slip away. The call ended. I sat there in that cold warehouse, holding my crying baby, zip ties cutting into my wrists. Hours passed. Ji-yoon was hungry. I couldn't feed her properly. She screamed. My heart was breaking. Please, I begged Sang-woo. Please let me take care of my baby. She's innocent in this. Nobody's innocent. Not in this world. Miho arrived at sunset. I heard the warehouse door open. Footsteps echoing. He walked in alone. Unarmed. Hands visible. Sang-woo smiled. You came. I'm impressed. Let them go. Sang-woo gestured to his 8 armed men surrounding us. You're in no position to make demands. I know. But I'm asking anyway. Please. Take me. Do whatever you want to me. But let them go. Where's the ghost? Where's the man who ruled Seoul with fear? He's gone. I'm just a father trying to save his family. Pathetic. Sang-woo nodded to his men. They attacked. Miho fought back. He was outnumbered. Outgunned. But he didn't stop. Every time they knocked him down, he got back up. He was stabbed in the shoulder. Shot in the leg. Beaten until his face was bloody. But he kept getting up. Stop, I screamed. Miho, stop. You'll die. He looked at me. Blood running down his face. I don't care. I won't let him hurt you. He fought like a man possessed. Years of training. Street fights. Survival instincts. He took down 3 men. 4. 5. Finally got his hands on a gun. Pointed it at Sang-woo. Sang-woo was on the ground, bleeding. Miho stood over him, finger on the trigger. Do it, Sang-woo said. Become the monster again. Show her who you really are. I could see Miho's hand shaking. The old him would have pulled that trigger without hesitation. The ghost would have ended this with a bullet. But he looked at me, at Ji-yoon crying in my arms. Miho, don't. Please. Don't become that person again. He stared at Sang-woo, at the gun, at us. Then he lowered the weapon. I'm not that person anymore. My daughter will never see me kill. You're weak. No. I'm finally strong enough to choose differently. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Jiho had called them the moment Miho left for the warehouse. Miho dropped the gun, walked to me, cut the zip ties off my wrists with a knife from one of the unconscious men. I grabbed Ji-yoon properly, held her close. She stopped crying the moment I could hold her right. Miho collapsed beside us, blood everywhere, barely conscious. You idiot, I sobbed. You beautiful, stupid idiot. Had to protect you. Had to choose differently. The police burst in. Ambulances. Chaos. They loaded Miho onto a stretcher. I climbed in the ambulance with him, still holding Ji-yoon. His hand found mine, squeezed weakly. Stay with me, I begged. Don't you dare leave us now. Not going anywhere. Promise. He passed out. What would you have done in Clara's position? Would you have forgiven him or walked away forever? Let me know in the comments. Miho spent 2 weeks in the hospital. Surgery on his shoulder and leg. Broken ribs. Concussion. Blood loss. But he survived. I was there every day. Ji-yoon sleeping in a bassinet beside his bed. Me in a chair holding his hand. When he finally woke up, really woke up, his first words were, "Are you okay? Is she okay? We're fine. Because of you." I almost killed him. I almost became that person again. But you didn't. That's what matters. You chose us. Even when it was hard. Even when every instinct told you to pull that trigger. You chose differently. He looked at Ji-yoon. She was awake, staring at him with those big dark eyes. I don't ever want her to be afraid of me, he whispered. She won't be. Because you're not that man anymore. You proved it. Recovery was slow. Physical therapy. Learning to walk without a limp. Healing. But we healed together. Month 3 after the warehouse. Miho was mostly recovered. We'd settled into our new life. Normal. Quiet. Safe. He worked from home. Tech company thriving. Made his first million legally. It felt different. Clean. I'd opened a small community center. Helping immigrant families. My dream job. Funded by Miho's legitimate businesses. Ji-yoon was 4 months old. Crawling. Laughing. Loved beyond measure. One evening, Miho came home with something behind his back. What's that? Close your eyes. I closed them. Heard rustling. Felt him kneel beside me. Open. There was a small velvet box in his hand. My heart stopped. Clara Adesanya. You saved my cousin's life. Then you saved mine. You gave me a daughter. You showed me how to be human again. I know I don't deserve you. I know my past is ugly and complicated and full of things I can never undo. But I'm asking anyway. He opened the box. A simple ring. Beautiful. Not ostentatious. Just perfect. Will you marry me? I was crying. You really are an idiot. Is that a no? It's a yes. It's always been yes. Even when I hated you. Even when I ran. It's always been yes. He slid the ring on. Stood up. Pulled me close. Ji-yoon, sitting on the floor, clapped her hands. Like she understood. We laughed. Both crying. Both holding each other like we'd finally found home. I have something to tell you too, I said. What? I'm pregnant again. His face went through about 17 emotions in 3 seconds. Really? Really? Ji-yoon's going to be a big sister. He picked me up. Spun me around. Set me down carefully when he remembered I was pregnant. We have to get married before you start showing. I want to do this right. We got married 3 weeks later. Small ceremony. City Hall. Just us, Jiyoon, Jiho, and Sarah as witnesses. I wore a simple white dress. He wore a suit. Jiyoon wore a tiny hanbok. When the officiant said you may kiss the bride, Miho cupped my face like I was made of glass. I love you, he whispered. I know. I love you too. The kiss was soft. Sweet. A promise. What quality do you think makes a relationship truly work, trust, or sacrifice? Share your thoughts below because I'd love to hear from you. 6 months after the wedding, our son was born. We named him Kian. It means ancient, enduring, because our love had endured everything thrown at it. We moved to Busan, Miho's hometown, away from Seoul's chaos. Bought a house by the ocean. Small, warm, filled with light and laughter and the sound of children playing. Miho ran his companies remotely. Clara's community center expanded. We were happy. One evening, sunset, we were on the beach. Jiyoon was 14 months old, toddling in the sand. Kian was 2 months old, sleeping in my arms. Miho sat beside me, watching our daughter chase waves. What are you thinking about? He asked. How far we've come. A year ago, I was locked in a penthouse, terrified, pregnant, alone. Now look at us. Do you regret it? Any of it? Not for a second. Even the hard parts. Even the scary parts. Because they led us here. He put his arm around me, pulled me close. Jiyoon ran back to us. Sand all over her face. Laughing. Appa, she said. One of her first words. Daddy. Miho's face lit up like she'd given him the world. Yes, baby girl. She climbed into his lap, cuddled against his chest. We sat there as the sun set. The 4 of us. Soon to be 5, 6, maybe more someday. People ask me if I regret that night. The night I saved a wounded boy and got kidnapped by Korea's most wanted criminal. The night that changed everything. I tell them no. Because that night gave me this. A man who learned to love. A daughter who saved his soul. A son who will grow up knowing his father chose family over everything. A family built from ashes and blood and second chances. We're not perfect. We're complicated. We're messy. Our story isn't a fairy tale. It's real. Raw. Hard one. But we're ours. And that's everything. Miho looked at me. The sunset reflected in his eyes. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For not giving up on me. For seeing who I could be when I couldn't see it myself. For choosing us even when it was terrifying. You did the same for me. You showed me that needing someone isn't weakness. That letting someone in doesn't mean losing yourself. That love is worth the risk. Always, he said. Always, I agreed. Jiyoon fell asleep in his arms. Kian was sleeping in mine. We sat there until the stars came out. My name is Clara Adesanya. I'm 27 years old. I was locked in a penthouse for 9 months by Korea's most wanted criminal. He's the father of my children. My husband. My heart. And I wouldn't change a single moment of our story. This is how we began. This is how we survived. This is how we became a family. And this is how we'll stay. Together. Always. Against everything the world throws at us. Because love isn't about perfection. It's about choosing each other. Every single day. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. That's our story. The humanitarian and the reformed criminal. The woman who saved lives and the man who learned his was worth saving. We're quite the family. And we're just getting started. Thank you for joining me on Clara and Miho's incredible journey. If this story gives you all the feels, please subscribe to Afrokorean Chronicles for more multicultural romance stories that will make your heart race. We post new stories every week featuring powerful love stories between African and Korean characters. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a comment telling me what you thought of this story. What was your favorite moment? I love hearing from you. Check out the playlist for more stories you'll absolutely love. See you in the next one. Which version do you prefer, or would you like me to create a different style?